Welcome
Welcome
to Sleepdrunk.
to Sleepdrunk, where my spine is slowly deteriorating and my very life's essence is beginning to depart from this world. Sofa beds suck ass.
Well, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah,
When do you get a regular bed?
I think 3 weeks. That's when my rest of my family's moving out. So I think right now it's me, my mom, and my brother. My dad's coming on Monday, so I have to find out where he's sleeping. And we tried moving the bed to the mattress to the floor, the sofa mattress, because we figured that it might just be the fact that there's no actual support on the sofa bed. But so that even that didn't help, just 'cause it's a really hard mattress. But moving on, today our first segment was originally going to be us talking about cars. That's definitely going to happen. But while we were planning to record
We've been teasing that
yesterday,
for a while, honestly.
Yeah, we have. That's probably going to be next episode. Now that I've said that, it's going to become like the
Yeah,
stuff
now that
we
you
hate.
said that, it's going to be one of those that gets delayed 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's going to be like stuff we hate or EDC. It's going to get delayed a billion episodes. But so originally this episode was first time was going to be us talking about cars. But while we were planning this, something happened. A lot happened to me. So we're going to be talking about that instead, because Alex doesn't know it, but it's a story. So this all starts out yesterday around the middle of the day. I was dropping my brother off to meet some of his friends. I picked up one of his friends. We dropped him off at the metro station. They're going to go meet up, hang out, do their thing. So I was dropping him off, right? On the way back, I stopped by a grocery store and I think, you know what? I want to try out this steak technique I found out from, I think, one of my new favorite YouTubers. He's called Adam Ragusia. He's like a cooking YouTuber. And so I was in the grocery store and I saw a manager special ribeye for $10, which was pretty good. Why it was on manager special?
Oh,
probably because it was
I know what manager special means. I don't know if you do.
Everyone knows. I know what manager. It means cook it that day, otherwise it's gonna go bad. That's my policy with manager special meat.
Yes.
But so I pick it up, and I pick up a few things. I pick up some rosemary and some Waterloo sparkling water. Not sponsored, but I'd love to be sponsored. So I pick that up, and I head back. So I get back to my place, and it's just my mom there. My mom says, hey, I want to go visit this family friend of ours who I really don't know that well, even though I've known him for a long time. And so I'm like, I really don't want to go. It was just like a torrential downpour, so I don't really want to go back out again. So she's like, fine, I'll just go. So now I'm home by myself, and I'm like, all right, gotta make me maybe some dinner. It's going to be good practice for when I'm going to be living by myself in a couple of weeks. Because I have a fair bit of knowledge about cooking. Like, I cooked a lot back when I lived in the States. But, just got to get my skills sharpened back up, get some practice in, right? I was like, all right, I'll cook the steak. I love it. Ribeye's my favorite cut of meat. I'll make it, right? So this was around 5 now. So I chilled and played Destiny until 7:30, and then I decided, all right, time to get cooking. So I realized we don't have any butter or garlic, so I'm like, all right, looks like I'm just gonna have to use rosemary and lemon. So I put some oil on the steak, and I put down the oil without the cap on. This is a notable thing. This is going to come into play later. I put a little bit too much oil on the steak, but I put it on the pan. I set the pan pretty hot because everyone says, when you're doing pan steak, you gotta get a good sear, right? Got a nice crust. So I put the steak on, pretty high heat, nice sizzle. It's going. I'm chilling, all right. Watching the steak, attending to it, and I look up, and my apartment's full of smoke. So I'm like, hey, I should turn down the heat. So I turn down the heat, open the doors. I then start fanning out the smoke as much as I can, right? Try to get it cleared out, because I didn't have enough steak for the fire department. I would have loved to share with them. I respect what they do. I just didn't have enough for them. I would have loved to have dinner with the fire department, but you know what? It is what it is. Maybe next time. So I start fanning things out. As I'm fanning, I just get a kitchen towel, start trying to fan out the smoke. And as I'm doing that, I happen to bump a container of oil, which happens to hit in my back and fall on the ground everywhere. So at this point, I have a steak on the burner. I have smoke everywhere, and the ground is covered in oil. So here,
did someone say Exxon?
You're not far off. And so now I'm in a conundrum. I have to rotate between make sure the fire alarm doesn't go off, make sure my steak doesn't overcook, and cleaning up the oil. So first things first, throw my kitchen towel on the ground, try and absorb some of it, right? While that's happening, I turn my steak. Move back, check the fire alarm, make sure it hasn't gone off, see how the smoke is around it, close doors, open more windows, do that, okay? Then the oil begins to kind of spread out, and I had oil on my shirt, and I was like, man, this kind of sucks, because having oil on your shirt is bad. I'm like, I need a large cloth that can absorb a lot of moisture and also give me a place to stand, because standing in oil while working with a very hot pan is dangerous because you can fall and get burned. So I take off my shirt and I throw it on the ground. So at this point, I am standing in my kitchen in nothing but my underwear, because when I'm at home, I don't wear pants because pants are oppressive.
And I have to disagree with you there, bud.
I mean, look, I just like to have that freedom, you know? Like, gotta be comfortable, have that mobility, you know? When I'm, like, doing stretches at home.
I mean, I have all the mobility that I could ever need with pants on.
I mean, you know, some people, like... I like to go free, you know? I'm a free-spirited guy. That's gonna be in the little show note header, isn't it? Alavi doesn't like pants. Okay. So, at this point, I'm standing in my kitchen, shirtless, on my shirt in a puddle of oil and a cloud of smoke. So, not much happens, actually. I focus mainly on the steak because I figured I can't fan the smoke out that much. The steak came out quite good, actually. I think I had a good crust. I tried dressing the board, which is like a classic technique where instead of flavoring the steak, you put a bunch of flavor on your cutting board and let the steak rest on the flavoring to like kind of absorb it. So I tried that with some rosemary, some lemon, salt, pepper. The steak came out really good. A little bit north of where I like it. I like my steak medium rare. Came out more around the medium, but good crust. That was fine. But so I finished cooking my steak, right? And in between, I try and like wipe up oil where I can, like absorb it. And I take my steak off, you know, I let it rest, and while it's resting, I begin thinking of ways to clean up oil, right? First, I think Clorox wipes might work, but they don't. Clorox wipes don't clean up oil well. They just don't. I tried soap, which normally is supposed to work. That's the whole point of soap, is that it emulsifies things. Soap is an emulsifier, because water and oils do not work together. They don't like mixing.
But soap makes them stick together.
Yes, soap is like a middle. For some reason, soap just didn't work. I used a lot of soap. It just didn't work. I don't know why.
Did you also use water?
Yes, I used soap. I used water. I made a solution. I tried putting it directly on the ground. I tried everything. It just didn't work.
Also, did you absorb the water?
Yes. I don't know. Okay, look, I was panicking. The whole night was a haze. But like, I soaked a rag, and then like I put the water down, then I wiped up. Like, I put the soap, I rubbed it in, put like the rag was just my t-shirt, which I soaked in water, put that on, and then let it sit for a bit, then tried like wiping it up. Didn't really work. Don't know why. Probably did something wrong. But so after my steak rested, I sat down, just in my underwear in my apartment by myself and ate steak shirtless.
Was the steak good?
Yeah, the steak came out pretty good. I think the crust was good. I think I could have used butter, but we didn't have any butter. We were out. I forgot to pick some up. But if it had some butter, I think it would have been fantastic. But I think it came out pretty good. I liked it. I was very pleased. I think I did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you know, the steak...
Would you say that it redeemed any of the struggle that you went through to achieve the end result?
It colored the story. I'll put it that way. I don't think there's anything redeemable about this.
Let me ask this more plainly. Did the ends justify the means?
I'm gonna give that a hard maybe. I don't think
Joseph Stalin would like that answer.
I don't think he would. I've actually been watching a lot of history videos lately. I might talk about that during Discussion Avenue. But, so, at this point, the steak's been mostly eaten, and I'm thinking, alright, I gotta find a way to clean up all this damn oil. Because at this point, I've tracked it around the house a little bit, too, because it got on my feet, and I was like, I have to run and get things, so then, like, that would get moved around. So, there's, like, these little trails of oil that I have to figure out how to clean up. So, at this point, my mom hasn't gotten back. It's just me, and myself and I, and I want to try and have it mostly cleaned up before she gets back, and she's picking my brother up on the way back. So my next step is, of course, the internet, because for some reason I didn't consult the internet immediately, and I saw a few different things. People were like, oh, use cat litter. I don't have a cat. Use baking soda. For some reason I don't have baking soda either.
Some people struggle to clean up after a party before their mom gets home. This kid struggles to clean up after an oil spill before his mom gets home.
It was a bottle of oil. It was not a little. It was a lot of oil. It was half a bottle.
It's still an oil spill.
Yeah, but I didn't have any, because the thing, so we're only in the apartment for a little while, right? So we don't have a bunch of our like kitchen staples or like a bunch of things that we would normally have. So normally we would have something to clean it with, right? Like I think Windex works really well, like for cleaning oil, like surprisingly well. We didn't have any Windex for some reason. So it's like normally we have these things that would equip me to clean this thing very quickly, because I am pretty decent at like dealing with messes, I think. Like I can, for the most part, take care of a mess.
And you're still stuck with the one car, so you couldn't go out and get anything?
Yes, exactly. My mom had the car, so I couldn't go out and get anything. So I do some more reading, and they say, and someone says, oh, use vinegar, dish soap, and water. And I'm like, oh yeah, vinegar.
That's actually a very good solution.
Yeah,
I use that to clean windows all the time.
Guess who didn't have vinegar? Because we never use vinegar at all. Like, I don't get why it's a staple. Like, I looked it up. It has, like, a very narrow set of uses in cooking. Most of its applications are for, like, cleaning and... I don't like, is vinegar used for like dressings and on subs, and like I think occasionally as like a leavener enhancement. I don't get why vinegar is considered a staple. And I'm not counting balsamic vinegar, because balsamic vinegar is more like a seasoning than it is like what vinegar does. But so beside the point, I didn't have vinegar, but I think I do have lemons. So I go to my bathroom, fill up the like sink with water. And it says, oh, use like 1 gallon of hot water and a tablespoon. And I'm like, all right, that I'm not getting out the measuring set, not making more of a mess. So I just kind of dump in some dish soap, squeeze in half a lemon, and like wash the lemon in the solution, try to get the rest of the stuff out. And I throw my shirt in there, because at this point, my shirt has just kind of become the super rag. Like, it has become just a hell of a rag. I feel really bad for that shirt, actually. But so I let that soak. And now I'm just like thinking, is there anything else I can use? Like before this, I tried a few things. Like I tried sticking Clorox wipes to our Swiffer, because our apartment came with a Swiffer. Don't have any pads because we haven't needed them yet, because my family has a bad habit of buying things reactively and retroactively, not proactively. Like medications are an example. Like we'll need stomach medication and we won't have any because we didn't buy any when we ran out. Beside the point. So I tried sticking like Clorox wipes, which I had left over from like when we were in the dorm, and those I stuck those to Swiffer, and those sort of worked. Those worked okay, but then finally the t-shirt soaked in lemon juice, dish soap, and water was ready. So I just throw that on the stain and the spill and just kind of let it soak. So at this point it had like spread out and then like dried into this thin, nasty film. Okay. So I throw this on, just kind of let it soak for a while, right? And that worked quite well, actually. That worked pretty well. It didn't go all the way, but it got rid of a good chunk of it. So I let that soak and sit there. In the meantime, there was just like some residual oil on the stovetop from when I was cooking, because like it splatters, that happens. So I figured I'd use that as a testing ground to test out various methods for the floor. So I tried using Goo Gone, which I picked up a thing of, because I thought I read somewhere that Goo Gone can work. And I threw on I put some Goo Gone on a paper towel, put it on, and it worked okay, but then it left that nasty-ass Goo Gone film. Like, if you ever use Goo Gone, it leaves this weird, like... How would you describe it, Alex? Because it's not an oil.
It's almost oily in itself, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like... I can just describe it as, like...
And it's just really hard to remove.
It's, like, chemically. It's really weird. Like, you know what, like... Imagine, like, have you ever had, like, gasoline on your hands? It's kind of like that.
I haven't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's nothing like I've really experienced before. It seems a little oily, though.
It's this weird in-between oil and, like, not oil. But so I used soap to try and clean that off, and that worked okay. I think I have the adhesive version for Goo Gone, so that might have just, like, not been meant for that. Goo Gone worked okay. I actually ended up turning on the light, too, to compare it to, like, a part of the stovetop that wasn't dirty.
Mine says that it's useful for grease and tar.
Huh. Does it have, like, a specific label on the bottle?
It says Goo Gone Pro Power. It says wood glue, adhesive, and grease/tar.
See, I bought mine at a TJ Maxx. It was a tiny little bottle.
I got mine at a Walmart. And the thing I don't understand with mine is, I've had this bottle for a while, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to buy this huge bottle because that was the only thing Walmart had, mm-hmm. and I was using it to remove the residue stuck on my car window after I peeled the SiriusXM sticker off after I was bored one day. And I have used the thing a lot, and the bottle still looks like it's completely full, like when I bought it. I'm pretty sure it is bottomless.
So it's magic, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so Alex, you have discovered. So, could you pour that onto a mill to create infinite power?
Infinite Gugon, at least, as long as that's. Well, I mean, it says Gugon Pro Power, so maybe that's infinite
Yeah, because
power.
it's like hydroelectrics, right? It's like you pour it onto like a little wheel thing, and it spins the wheel, and that generates electricity.
The problem is, where does the other Gugon go?
I think it just vanishes into the. What if it just kind of comes back into the bottle? Like it absorbs and floats back in.
But like, how? We'd be violating some sort of thermodynamic law here if we didn't get it back in the bottle. But like, I don't understand how it gets back in the bottle.
Some questions aren't meant to be asked, Alex. I feel like some higher powers are gonna come get you.
Maybe my Gugon bottle, just because I've questioned it, is gonna start
so you're
decreasing
it's gonna be
now.
empty. It's gonna be dry. Alex, what if it's Moonmen technology? What if they just kind of like technoed your bottle a little bit? Like while you're sleeping, they came one day, thought they'd do you a little favor.
Because I did buy it down here in Moonmen territory.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's kind of like gave it a little upgrade for you. Because, like, you know, they care about you and they're sensitive. They like to keep their friends close.
Yeah.
You know?
That's probably it.
Maybe, yeah. So, in other words, if you need bottomless Gugon, ask the Moonmen. But be nice about it because they're sensitive. Yeah. A message from Sleepdrunk. But so where was I? Yeah, I picked up my Gugon from like a TJ Maxx.
I have to cut you off again.
Yeah.
This kid, I requested to have some of those mosquito stickers, which I believe we've mentioned on here before.
Yes.
Because they're just super effective.
Yes.
And he came through. He imported a bunch of them from India.
Yes.
So props to him for that. But
thank you.
The envelope that I received. Okay, so my dad goes and gets the mail, and he comes into the door, and he yells upstairs, "Alex, I think you have a package." And I'm like, I have a package, because I wasn't expecting anything from Amazon or eBay or anything. And I go downstairs and grab it, and I was very confused. I'm like, this seems a little shady. And then I read it. I didn't even read the return address. I just see, Alex, envoy to the Moonmen, my last name. And yeah, that happened.
You are envoy to the Moonmen. You you let us know how they're doing. You let us know their interests. That's like your thing. That's one of your roles on the show. One of your many roles. Look, man, they need representation. The Moonmen, they're an important part of society, and I feel like as an ambassador to the Moonmen,
yes.
you're like our ambassador to the Moonmen. So where was I? All right, so I soaked my shirt in the half a lemon plus some dish soap and water solution. And that actually worked, once again, pretty well. I let it soak for a long time, and it did cut through a lot of it, but I'm guessing I probably just got the proportions wrong because I didn't measure anything. I just kind of, like, squeezed and, like, poured. But that worked okay.
You just give it the old squeeze and pour.
The old squeeze and pour, you know, like, a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of pour, and you have a weird cloudy solution in your sink. Well, that worked okay, and there still was oil. Like, when my mom came back, she could feel it. And so I think there was still oil on my floor today. We picked up something to clean it, like some kind of actual floor cleaner instead of random I have in my apartment. I also tried using Febreze in a moment of panic, because I thought it might be worth a shot. Like, there might be some emulsifier in there.
Febreze, yes.
Well, actually, no, that wasn't Febreze. It was a generic Febreze, store brand Febreze.
So it was Febreze.
Yes, but like, because I figured that lots of scents are oils, right? Like, a lot of common fragrances use oils, and so if they want to keep it in some solution, they must have an emulsifier. So I thought that might do something. I really was panicking. It was bad. But that
is quite an interesting thought train right there. I'm not impressed or disappointed. I'm just somewhere in the middle. So I
You're
feel
impressappointed.
I feel no reaction.
You're impressappointed.
Impressappointed to your.
And there's the episode title.
Idea.
There's the episode title.
Yes.
Impressappointed. Let's see. Is anything else happened? Steak was nice, needed butter. I mentioned that. And so, yeah, there's still some oil on my floor. Hopefully it'll be clean today. But that wraps up my fun night. Just fun is how I describe it. Fun.
So, Alavi, maybe we can use some of that mysterious liquid you concocted to wash the lice of chat off of the mangy dog of debate we found on Discussion Avenue.
All right. So now I've done a lot of talking. Alex, how has your past week been? It has actually been exactly a week almost since we last recorded. How have you been?
Pretty good. Not too much has happened. Just the usual work, school. Had a doctor's appointment. And I've been watching The Sopranos. I've been really getting into that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a fantastic show. I don't know how I haven't watched it until now.
I remember a YouTuber I watched called Turkey Tom mentioned it a while ago and said it was like fantastic. I've been meaning to check it out as well.
Definitely a good show. I feel like based on the fact that I assume that you would have watched the show, but based on the fact that you came up with that whole idea that we were originally planning on using for Honors 122, I think you would like The Sopranos.
Yeah, it's weird because like I'm not a huge TV person. Like I don't watch a lot of TV shows.
I don't either. But when I find one I like, I tend to binge it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like that's what I did with like Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Was I binged the ever-loving out of it.
But The Sopranos, you can just tell it's just better than a standard network show because it is an HBO series.
Yeah.
It's like a ultra long movie with it just has such great content to it. I mean, everything you can tell, it just had a lot of thought put into it, and everything has a meaning, and it's just a very, very good show.
Okay.
Don't want to spoil any plot points for anybody that hasn't seen it because it's just not worth spoiling. It's just fantastic.
This isn't a spoiler, but it's more of a warning that I've heard is that I've heard certain events happen in the last episode, which I think were clarified by someone, but the clarification kind of ruins it, so maybe don't look for those, I've heard. Like,
I don't know about that. I guess I will keep that in mind myself.
Yep.
Also, for those of the faint of heart, I don't know that I would recommend the show, or if you do watch it, know when to look away. I know that my mom said that
it's graphic.
Had to look away in a lot of scenes. Yeah, because it can get graphic.
It's a show about the mafia, right? So of course.
It's not awful, and a lot of people have probably seen worse. Yeah. But it's a little more graphic than you would expect from a TV show because it is HBO after all.
They don't really have to follow the rules.
And other than that, I don't really know that anything interesting has happened.
I mean, I know something happened last night because we were planning to record last night, but events occurred for you.
Oh, yeah, that I can definitely go over that. So last night, it was probably just after 6:30. We had started dinner. We were working on dinner, and it's around my mom's birthday, and actually today is my mom's birthday. I've completely forgot to wish her a happy birthday on her birthday. That's bad. I should do that as soon as we finish this episode.
Something you should probably do.
But that is, we were having her birthday dinner last night, and we were planning some scallops that we fry in a pan with butter and some other things, some garlic, and we had asparagus and our special mashed potato recipe that's just great. It includes like Gouda cheese and stuff. Anyway, we are well on our way to getting dinner ready, but nothing is, quite completely cooked. And then, what do you know? A storm is brewing outside during all this. It's getting quite windy. And that, that's not uncommon here in Virginia. You see that quite a lot, especially in the summer. It's thunderstorm season. Mm-hmm. Except a tree that is, I believe, technically on my neighbor's land falls over. And we didn't know this at the time, but it falls over. It hits a hickory tree, knocking a few limbs off of it, and also a poplar tree. And the poplar tree, the whole top of it breaks off and goes over with the gum tree in the same direction and knocks down a power line that runs along my driveway, which is fairly long, and pulls it towards the ground. And I guess it shorted something out, and a wire above the transformer on a pole beside my driveway explodes into a firework of sparks, and with that goes our electricity. Luckily, living in the woods, we're prepared for these kind of things, so we have a generator that we can plug directly into our house's power as soon as we turn the main breaker off. And that isolates us from the outside grid, and then we can generate our own electricity. However, our generator is not a very large one, and I don't remember the rating for wattage. I want to say it's somewhere around 4,500 watts, which isn't too terribly much. Like, it's not enough to run the water heater and the well pump at the same time. So we were trying to finish dinner with that, and there were a whole multitude of issues involved in that because the generator has like two internal breakers that are both 15 amps, and like one of them kept going every time we tried to turn on a certain appliance in the kitchen, and my dad was freaking out and like yelling at everyone to turn everything off that was drawing any sort of power whatsoever. even though there really wasn't anything else on. Like we had no lights on in the house besides the kitchen, like a small one in there so we could see. And I don't know, it was just a huge pain until we finally got it all cooked and then ate with the dining room light powered by the generator.
Okay.
I mean, it was a good meal nonetheless. Some things were slightly unevenly cooked according to other people, but in my experience, everything was very good. The scallops were fantastic.
I mean, hey, it's an adventure, right?
Yeah.
That is an adventure.
Definitely. And another stupid thing, we called this in, right, as you do. That way, you know, the power company knows to come out and fix it. And the person I spoke to took all the info down, and then I had to go through some BS automated machine thing, of course, to get there. The worst. And they kept like asking for the phone number that was on file with our account, but we had since like disconnected our landline because landlines are kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And I had to like find a way around that every single time, and I was asked way too many times for the phone number because we don't have access to the phone number. And I reported it, or so I thought, and I was given an estimate of 8:38 p.m. when my power would be back. You know, not 8:37, not 8:39, 8:38 p.m. Needless to say, they were not there at 8:38 p.m., let alone had it fixed by then. And at some point in this whole process, my mom had called them again, and they took the info all down again, and then I guess that means that they had never heard of this before, so whoever I spoke to just did not even take it down. And, they showed up, I don't know, around 11 o'clock, and started walking around with flashlights and doing their thing, and they showed up, left a few times. I don't know when the power actually eventually ever came back on, because my dad neglected to turn the main breaker back on, so our power was out all night, even though it probably wasn't.
Was it a hot night?
It was
temperature-wise?
It wasn't awful.
Okay.
I tend to like to sleep under at least a sheet just to have something over me, but I couldn't really do that. But yeah, I mean, at least the power went out later, so it wasn't very hot outside, and it wasn't heating up the whole house.
Okay.
And then this morning, I woke up to my dad yelling up the stairs earlier than I ever wake up, telling me to put some pants on and get some water. And then in the garage, there were some gloves, and grab the wheelbarrow and go down the driveway. That was rather annoying, because this is honestly something that could have waited until I was up. But there was a tree over the driveway, but nothing super serious. Like, my brother had gone to work, meaning that he was able to drive his car either under or around the tree somehow. So yeah, that was just dumb. And that took us like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something. But here we are, driveway's all clean and power's on, so that's good enough for me.
Yep. I mean,
another thing. Unless you want to...
Oh, no, go ahead.
Your comment was on that.
I mean, I was going to say, having lived in the developing world, I understand the pain of power outages. Like, I remember, whenever I visit Bangladesh, it's like, when I was young, it was like a whole cool thing, because I wasn't used to power outages living in the States, because... At least for me, I live in Northern Virginia, so like they happened, but they were pretty uncommon. Like once every couple years.
And you probably had buried utility lines.
Yeah, we had underground lines.
But where I live, it's just a little too rural to make buried utility lines cost effective whatsoever. Yeah.
But so, like, it for me was a whole big thing. Like, it'd be like, oh, it's all dark everywhere, and I can run around with a candle. But yeah, I understand your pain. I think even back when I was in India, we had outages pretty frequently, even though we had we had overground lines in the middle of a city, which is just dangerous.
That really is, yeah.
Our building, since we were in our building had a pretty good generator that could like basically just replace the grid for a few hours if we needed it. And in most cases, the power would come on by then. But I understand your pain. I really do. But yeah.
Yeah. And switching topics to something that actually happened a few days prior, I believe this was never mind. This came on Wednesday. That little device came in the mail. The little bootleg Volvo diagnostic device that I was talking about on the last episode.
Capital for your new business.
Yes. So that arrived, and I hooked it up to my shady software that I had on a Windows XP virtual machine. And I was able to plug it into the car outside and open I think it's called the diagnostics tab or something, and then go to the area where you can see like a map of the car's network, and then click on the SRS module, see all the codes for it, clear it, and the screen up at on the driver's information module, like right by the speedometer, went dark, and it no longer says that there's service needed on the airbag system.
Good.
So
Good.
that was a nice, easy fix. There's a lot of other Volvo proprietary codes that the device is reading out, so that's something that I'll have to look into at a later date, possibly even today, unless it's going to be unbearably hot out this afternoon, which I won't want to go work in that. But yeah, and also I heard that these devices tend to come with a CD with what says is the Volvo software, but is actually usually malware. And of course, I'm not going to pass that opportunity up to see if there's malware on it. So I used the only functioning computer in this house with a CD drive, because who uses CDs anymore?
Yeet.
And flash, which would be my dad's old 2011 MacBook Pro, which is no longer in use. It's just there. And I burned a image file of the CD, like straight from the drive, onto a .dmg, and then I copied that over to my computer, loaded that into a virtual machine running Windows 7 Ultimate, and used 7-zip to extract it. And what do you know? It wasn't malware.
Really?
I was honestly disappointed. It was a newer copy of the Volvo software than I already had. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
Are you using that now, or like? Are you
And it
taking the old
also
one?
doesn't say that I have to have Windows 7 Professional instead of Ultimate, which, if you know what the different versions are, is insanely stupid. It actually works on Ultimate. It did give me a dumb error, though. It said that I had to have at least 20 gigabytes free, and it wouldn't let me install. Yet it would also tell me that I had 21 gigabytes free. And I did, in fact, have 21.9 gigabytes free. But nevertheless, adding 10 more gigabytes of storage did allow it to install.
All right.
But yeah, that was my week.
My week, you already heard about last night, but not a lot happened. Just kind of like general errands, like, going around, taking care of stuff, shopping, like getting shopping done for my brother and my mom. Yesterday, while I was dropping off my brother, we were in the middle of just a torrential downpour, like a brutal amount of rain, like monsoon tier rain. And so I'm driving down the highway, right? And I put on this, like, it's just kind of a, I guess, meme for any anime fans out there. I put on Scapegoat by Sawano, which is like this weird metal song that it's not like metal, but it's sort of metal. But like the point is, it created a very intense driving atmosphere. So
Oh boy.
that was interesting. But
So what you're saying is it's a pretty diesel song.
it's not even that diesel. It's just kind of
Really?
like, it's sort of angsty, but I'll send it to you at some point so you get an idea of it. It's actually partly in English, partly in German, partly in Japanese, and everything is grammatically correct and sounds fine. So like,
That's interesting.
yeah, I'll send it to you right now over WhatsApp. Hold on.
It's not something I'm gonna listen to right now, but maybe in the future.
I'll just get
Like
it
if
sent.
really bored, I'll go on WhatsApp and check it out.
All right. Well, so the point is, I was listening to that. Other than that, not a ton has happened. I met up with some of my old friends. We got some burgers at I'm not sure if it's a Northern Virginia chain. Might be just a Northern Virginia chain, but it's like a burger place called Burger 21, where it's definitely on the pricier
I've never
side
heard
for
of
a
it, so-
burger. It might just be a Northern Virginia chain. Let me look it up real quick, actually. Oh, there's kind of like only one. So now you guys know what county I'm in. But so I went to Burger 21, which was really nice. It's like that's a place we went to a few times. It's the food's fantastic. When you come up here, we should totally go. But it's on the pricier side. Like, I think a full meal will cost you around, I want to say, just above $10, maybe 15. So for burger, it's not cheap, but it's really good. So we went there. That was nice. We caught up, hung
So
out.
it's like a cheeky Nando's
Yeah.
to your burger.
Yeah, it's quite good. I love it. I did some skating, which was nice. I've been trying to do that as much as I can, just because
I have not been doing hardly any skating as of recent.
I found a really nice spot near my apartment too. It's just kind of
there's
like
just really nowhere to do that up here because all the roads in my county are pretty bad. And like if it is a quality road, then it's probably very highly traveled and therefore awful for skating.
See, I found a really big parking lot, which it's not like perfectly smooth, but it's definitely rideable. There's a couple of rough cracks which you have to take at some speed if you want to get over, but it's totally rideable. So that's just a great spot. It's great for like long laps, cruising, carving, stuff like that. So I'm also planning on doing some work to my board because through various events it has become cracked around the drop-through mount, so I'm going to have to pick up a new deck. And I was planning on getting new wheels anyway, so I'm probably going to throw some new wheels on that as well. So who knows, I might make an update at some point with my upgraded setup. But I was thinking that since I'm going to upgrade my wheels and my deck anyway, maybe not now, but some point next semester, I might pick up some trucks and turn my old deck into a rain board. Like a board that I would ride just when like the weather's crappy and I still want to ride. Because that way I can keep my new deck clean and nice looking, but still have another... Because like I'm going to have everything except the trucks and bearings.
Right.
So at some point that might happen.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. And I'll just seal up the cracks like with some epoxy or something and just make it so that it's stable enough. Because the rain not going to be going super fast, right? But I might do that. So stay posted for that. This might be not in the recent episode, but maybe in a few weeks. You guys will find out. But yeah, that's been my week. Pretty chill. Yeah. That's it.
Yep, so moving into our last segment, which is, Alavi's Urban Dictionary escapades.
So, for some context for this, when I'm bored, I like to open up Urban Dictionary, which is like it is what it is. It's like a website that has definitions for like slang terms. So I'll just kind of hit random and see what I get, or sometimes I'll like look up names or whatever, right? And so I figured I'd take some of my favorite definitions that I found over the past few days and tell Alex all about them. So I'm gonna start off with a word that I'm pretty familiar with. That word is Alavi, my name. And the definition...
Oh, yeah, you got that from random, did you?
Oh, no, I did look that one up. I look up a couple every now and then. Like, I'll look up names sometimes. Like, I looked up my friend Chuck with 2 C's. I looked up his name. That one was pretty funny. I'll talk about that one later. But this is one I looked up, and it is, and I say, a really dumb person, characterized by Asiatic looks and egg-shaped face when crying. Wow, that kid with Down syndrome looks like Alavi. The tags are loser, dork, a slur for homosexuals, egg, and Chinese.
All right.
That one stings a little bit. And in contrast, I also looked up your name, Alex.
Also, that's interesting because most names have a positive definition.
Yeah, they
on
do.
Urban Dictionary.
Most of the time, they do. I haven't found
I guess
one
Urban
with a
Dictionary
negative
has something
one yet.
against ethnic names.
Even ethnic names. But so here's one for you, Alex. This is your name. There's 2 definitions, actually. These are the top 2. The first one is a genuine but sometimes secretive friend. He is logically oriented and a cunning planner. Although he can easily attain a partner, he usually tends to be a lone wolf because he doesn't believe in frivolous relationship and yearns for true love. And also, that was relationship, not relationships. It was singular. They tend not to subscribe to the conventions of society, doing what they feel is most entertaining or comfortable. He is self-validated and a risk-taker, although his outward confidence hides a more vulnerable character. True Alex is like Alex Possessive, won't be involved in activities like football and lacrosse, both of which are capitalized for some reason. The ones who do are usually shorter and less comfortable with their masculinity, due to their creativity and determination. Alex is, once again, possessive, are goal-oriented, and work tirelessly to reach their long-term mission. He loves having fun and will risk embarrassment for a good laugh. He never feels the need to drink or do drugs, because he doesn't need them to enjoy life. Overall, Alex's, possessive, are a constant source of laughs, and are exceptionally loyal friends you'd be lucky to have. And the example is, quote, "I hope one day I can marry an Alex."
All right.
The second definition is yeet. Alex.
Oh, that was all the first.
That was
thought
all
you had
the
taken
first. That was all the first definition.
Oh.
The second definition is yeet. I feel like the second one is a lot more accurate.
The second one is definitely a lot more accurate. The first one may have had some slightly accurate points and other very non-accurate points.
For example,
Other than
Alex, I know
that,
you really enjoyed meth.
Really,
right?
all I can say.
Well, you are a pretty big fan of meth.
Yeah, meth is quite good. I do enjoy using meth.
I mean,
throughout my life. Just really, whenever I get a chance, you'll see me holding a bowl.
To quote a really crappy video I saw on YouTube, a guy called Goblin, meth, it's a D-tier drug, because, it's like heroin, but it makes you productive, It's like productive heroin. Don't do drugs, kids.
Except you'll end up with meth breath.
Yes,
in
and
about
scabs,
6 months. So.
and will lose your teeth. Don't do meth. It's bad. Meth is bad.
No, that's what meth breath is. Meth breath is not actually anything to do with your meth. It's just the way that your breath. It's just the way that your mouth looks after the use, which is generally decaying, brown, missing or chipped teeth.
It's not good. Meth, not a good look. That's why it's D tier. He said it's not F tier. It's D tier. So don't do drugs, kids. Now, another one I found, which is another pretty common word, is pimp. And it's an abbreviation for person into marketing prostitutes. Which, I have to admit, is pretty clever. I will give them points. That's a clever little abbreviation. And it's accurate, too. I feel like pimps tend to market prostitutes. It's just what they do.
Generally what people associate pimp with.
It's what they do, you know? Like, it is... Yep. It's an activity. It is done. Now...
And it is done by them.
Yes.
And no one else.
So, now for another... Urban Dictionary is a mean place. I'm just gonna say, it's a mean place. I found one that is... It's Uckus. U-C-K-U-S. And this has a bit of some less than nice things, so I'm gonna have to do some censoring where I will. But it is a fat thought that thinks they're the but they're spelled wrong. Really just wearing very tight pants that go up to their butt cheeks. She that girl in the park, that girl is Uckus. The tags are thought, fat, Uckus, butt cheeks, tight, slur for gay people, gay homo, Quentin. So I feel like this was just a subtle jab at Quentin wherever you are.
I feel like this was just somebody trying to get at Quentin.
I mean, poor Quentin. Like, what did Quentin ever do to you? I'm not gonna find out the guy. I'm gonna find the guy who wrote that. Hold on a second. All right. UCKUS. I have to search it specifically. Holy crap. Well, the ting goes suck us is Riley. What did Quentin ever do to you? That's actually a username.
I didn't really comprehend the last minute of speech that has been ejected from your oral cavity, but nonetheless, we shall continue.
Well, yeah, the point is Quentin was poor guy. Now, another name is Kate with a C, which I think I've met one person like that, but I feel that's one of the things where it's like, just why would you do that? That's
just kind of incorrect.
Just put a K. Or if you're gonna do it all the way and do CAIT, which is actually like I think a Gaelic name or something.
But no, my child has to be different.
Yeah, so like, I mean, hey, you can name your child whatever you want to, and I'm sure Kate with a C has some significance, but...
No, you can't.
Like, I mean, legally...
You cannot name your child whatever you want to.
Actually, legally you can't. Actually, in Sweden, I think, they have some strict-ass naming laws. It's very strict in Sweden,
yes. But even here, depending on the state, there are...
some restrictions.
Not necessarily laws, but just restrictions
like
regarding it. Sometimes in the case of California, it's just due to their computer system not being able to handle special characters.
Oh, yeah. Also, you can't name your kid Null, I think. Because that would also break things. Because I think this one person was named Null, and for a while, like, they didn't exist legally. Because Null is like a tag in computer systems, which means nothing. Like, it's not like 0, which is evaluated as nothing. But, like,
if you think about it, that shouldn't make any sense. Maybe with older computers, but like at least with modern computers,
I think this was in the early 2000s.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, so anyways, Kate is, once again, demonstrating that Urban Dictionary hates me. Kate is the most beautiful organism to ever walk the earth. Kate is prettier than pretty, kinder than kind, smarter than smart. Also, all the thens are the wrong thens. And tells the best jokes. Any person to know Kate, uncapitalized, should buy a lottery ticket because that's how lucky they are. Kate is also amazing at everything she does. The quote is, "Damn, I haven't known this Kate girl for long, but I already like her." Why don't people use, like, a grammar checker, like,
I don't know.
Putting in, like, I just run Grammarly.
I feel like that goes to show a little bit about the types of people that go on Urban Dictionary and write these descriptions.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they could just have a built-in grammar checker, because, like, I can get something like the wrong then. Like, that happens, like, it's then instead of than. But not capitalizing names, or, like, something else here. Like, just
like I
incorrect.
said, it just gives you a little insight into the mind of the individual that wrote the definition.
Yes. It does. So, speaking of the minds of individuals that don't who write definitions, the next one is Pajit, a slang racial slur for a smelly, dirty, curry-drinking, hairy Indian that poos in the loo.
Wait, would he not? Wouldn't he not poo in the loo?
It's only 40% of the population. It's technically a majority. And also, the user who posted this is poo-poo in the Lulu. I don't know where to start. I mean, like, it's like, outwardly it's like, hey, you know what? Fine. But I feel like using the bathroom to defecate is generally a pretty, like, common thing.
Pretty standard practice. Yeah. Generally, the more racist stereotype of an Indian includes them not doing that.
Yes, exactly.
Which is interesting when you look at this definition in perspective, but nevertheless, it is interesting.
It is. So I'm gonna go to a word now that I think we both enjoy using. It is head, and the definition I picked is the number 2, and it's, I guess I'm gonna have to say that head posterior, so you know which word we're using. This is the definition. Ain't no define with yo Charles Barkley looking at. The example is, boy, if you don't get your light switch head out of here, breath smelling the potato chip hole digging the booty head, you're gonna look like a leftover piece of gum coochie bump head. I just crawled out of the toilet looking at it. What did I just say?
I don't know.
Now I know what the song of the day is.
Those were words.
Now you know what the song of the day is.
If you didn't already, I mean, my God.
It's just words.
Note to you, there you go.
Yep. So if you ever call someone a head, that's what you're saying, you know. Something about Charles Barkley, potato chips, gum, and crawling out of the toilet. So this one, I'm just gonna kind of keep hitting random and see if I can find anything interesting before we wrap up. I'd just like to mention that, oh, yep, there it is, actually. I was gonna say, I haven't gotten any obscure sex acts in a while, because I think, especially early Urban Dictionary, it's like you'd hit random, oh, there's an obscure sex act, oh, there's another one.
That's just what Urban Dictionary used to be for.
Yeah, it's just obscure sex act. This is one. This is cock painting. It is when you paint your dick with glow-in-the-dark paint so that your hoe can see your dick.
I mean, maybe you should just turn some lights on in that instance. I feel like it would be a more practical approach.
Yes, and also the user name
because then you
is
can see other things as well that might need to be seen in such an instance.
Yes, but the username is cock painting. So I feel like people just make
show you that they created their account specifically to make that definition.
Yeah, like, let's see if I can find others, but yeah, most of these are just kind of like I think it's the same thing with the
either that or they're just a real enthusiast of such an activity.
Maybe that's their thing, and you know, I don't judge. I feel like what you do in the bed, as long as it's not illegal, as long as no one's getting hurt, you do you. Like, it's fine.
I mean, as long as whoever is getting hurt is okay with getting hurt, I guess.
As long as if everything's consensual, right? You know, pain is consensual. Go ahead, you do you. People do what they want. This one, that's actually pretty meta. It is herb. When you're too lazy to type in Urban Dictionary in Google, so you just type herb to get there faster. Let's
Maybe
find out.
You all could try that and write a definition for Sleepdrunk.
Yeah, Sleepdrunk. A podcast run by a what I like to quote, a yeet and a really dumb person characterized by Asiatic looks with an egg-shaped face when crying. Wow. That one stings.
Don't take it personally there, bud.
Yes, I won't. I have.
What about Ahmed?
I'll look that one up too. For those of you, that's my actual first name. Like, my middle name is Alavi. That's the one I go by. This one is a very common Muslim name used around the world. This name, it derived from the last messenger and prophet of Allah, Muhammad, may peace be upon him, which Ahmed, as a shorter version of the name Muhammad, Ahmed in Arabic is Arabic characters. The example is, "Hi, Ahmed. Ahmed, hi, how are you?" That's it. Is there
So
another
like
one?
an actual definition of a name, something you would expect
Oh
when looking up a
no!
name.
Here's another one. Second definition: the name of literally everyone in Egypt and most people in the Middle East. Oh, here's one that's actually good. Ahmed, the most amazingly perfect person you could ever meet. He is perfect in every way, and every person he meets adores him. He is loved by so many, yet loves only one other more than his own life. And Ahmed is always has beautiful eyes and isn't afraid to use them to his advantage. Even though he loves only one other, he will flirt with people of the opposite, spelled OPPOSIT. Opposite sex. If you know an Ahmed, look after him. He is the greatest treasure you can have.
Alrighty. Well, did that give you a nice confidence boost there, bud?
Little bit.
Alright, good to hear, good to hear.
And random again. Belaka, which is a Puerto Rican slang for horny when referred to a woman. For a guy, it would be belaco. So if you're in Puerto Rico, now you know. Oh, this one has a GIF. Okay.
I didn't know that was possible.
Plan B. For those who don't know, listen for this one. Like, the definition is pretty straight up, but the GIF is what appears to be a young Jackie Chan bowing to a condom.
Okay.
Like, I think the GIF's really quick, so I can't tell, but it kind of looks like, I might just be being racist here, but I'm pretty sure that is just a really young Jackie Chan with like long hair is bowing to the condom's bowing back. Let's see. Oh no, this one's funny. Slap the bag, removing a bag of wine inside the box of wine and passing it around, partaking in its sweet nectar as you simultaneously hold, pour, and slap the bag of wine. Also known as...
I guess that's what Karens do at parties.
Yes. Like a party Karen. Like a really really off the chain Karen, the kind of person who like
she snuck off the bleachers at soccer practice.
Yeah.
And
the kind of person who like drives a Civic instead of a Sienna.
I don't know, man. It could be an Accord.
Could be. I think probably an Accord to have that extra size. They're not that crazy.
Yeah, and you got to fit your the soccer practice bag in the back.
You have to fit the soccer practice bag. The really crazy ones will drink beer and drive a Passat.
But that's about as crazy as it gets.
Let's see. But I'm just gonna find a couple more. Oh no, this one's not good. Mongoloid, a derogatory term for a mentally retarded person. Did you guys see that Mongoloid look at me? Let's beat him up by Fat Washington. This was posted all the way back in 2003.
Interesting example there.
2000.
I feel like there might be some inner anger there that they chose to beat him up.
Yeah. Like, this is all 2003. November
2003,
Urban Dictionary's an old site. Wow.
Yes, it is. People have really been going at it for that long.
2013, 2000. I'm going to look up how old they are. Hold on. All right. Let's check the wiki. We'll leave the Wikipedia page for Urban Dictionary in the description, in the show notes, just because linking all these words would be a huge pain.
Probably approaching like some Yahoo age.
1999.
Wow, they actually are approaching Google age there.
Yeah,
Google was 1998, the beta.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It's as old as I am. Interesting. Yeah, it's just about
it's
as old as I
am. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I was born back in the 90s. Like, I'm a 90s kid. So, like...
Oh, yeah, you're just such a 90s kid. Like, only 90s kids would get that, right?
Only 90s kids would get it, yeah. Like, back in 99, things were different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel so left out because I just don't get any of the things that the 90s kids get. Like, I just could never comprehend it.
Yeah, like, Pogs, right? Like,
I just lack the intelligence.
Yeah, because, like, Pogs, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, am I right, guys? Freaking SNES.
Only 90s kids.
SNES was 80s, but, like, late 80s. There's just a definition for, like, China. It's just like, it's an accurate definition. It's like a 5,000-year-old civilization in Asia that first flourished in the land between the Huang and Chang rivers. Yeah, it's just like, that's correct. That's it. That's China. Oh, speaking of meth, actually, here is Tweaker. An extremely overly paranoid individual, usually high on meth or some other type of stimulant. The person is usually very, one word, high-strung, and easily distracted by most anything.
But, guys, I think on the topic of China, I think we should all just take a moment to remember what happened on June 4th and 5th, 1989 in Tiananmen Square.
Oh, you mean absolutely nothing?
That is absolutely nothing.
Yep, nothing.
Yes.
Nothing at all. Not a thing. Not a thing at all. Winnie the Pooh doesn't exist.
Disclaimer. We're not that dumb.
Yeah. But disclaimer to President Xi, that was a joke. We are that dumb. I mean, President Xi, if you're listening to the show,
and
give us a shout out.
The rest of the CCP. So that is.
But hey, if you're listening to us, President Xi, hey, let us know. Give us a shout out. Maybe put us
definitely give us a shout out, President Xi. And we will do the same for you.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out. Preemptive shout out to President Xi, preemptively. Maybe not. Who knows? One last word, I think, before we wrap it up today. Thotting. Thotting. Whoring, being a late-night booty call, staying out all night to be used sexually by a person that then dropped off at a destination close to home. A thought is any male, female, or male that you meet at a gas station, fast food restaurant, bar, clubs, Chuck E. Cheese, movie theater, shopping mall,
really,
etc.
the Chuck E. Cheese. I think that's the most important one on this list.
you exchange numbers and then converse on the phone for 72 hours or less, then you are in the bed with he or she, having relations. That does not involve their own pleasure, but basically getting used and abused. That is a thought and is called thoughting. Or having a friend that is a thoughtee friend, or friends that are thoughties, meaning more than one. If you want to do that, that's your choice. I respect that. But Chuck E. Cheese, not Dave & Buster's, because fun fact, you have to be 25 to enter Dave & Buster's. 25, not 21, 25.
I really just don't understand the point of Dave & Buster's. Like, I would never go there, and it seems like a pointless establishment. It's
a man-child's paradise.
I don't know.
See, it's kind of like the Dove for Men series of products, right? Like, if you're using Dove, like, you know what you're doing. But it's like, you wanna, sometimes you wanna, like, say, keep it a bit more manly. Dave & Buster's, like, Chuck E. Cheese is the Dove with argan oil and orchid scent. Which, I don't have that, but I have no problems with using women's soaps because they're better. But yeah, so it's like, they're both options. Like sometimes you go to Chuck E. Cheese, sometimes you go to D&B. And disclaimer, we are not sponsored by Dave & Buster's, nor would we want to be sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Unless they pay us, like, a lot.
Nah, I'm no sellout.
Good. I mean, okay, how much would Dave & Buster's have to pay you to promote?
This is not a conversation we're going to have right now. In fact, we're going to have a conversation of where you can find the Sleepdrunk podcast, and that is on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. And while we're at it, thanks for listening to this episode of Sleepdrunk. Remember that the first person to guess the song of the day on any of our social media or via email will get a shout out in the next episode. The song of the day for episode 20 was Journey, Wheel in the Sky, because it was on my Spotify and I decided to download it and put it in the episode.
Before we wrap it up, don't forget to share the show. We really appreciate it. Let your friends know, let your family know, let your meth dealer know, and we'll see you next week.
Specifically your meth dealer, because it's a D-tier drug.
Yeah,
don't tell your F-tier drug dealers.
Yeah,
we just
like heroin's an F-tier drug. I'll link that video in the show notes. I will link Goblin in the show notes. We'll catch you next week.
Catch you next week.